You won't believe what Sunderland's wonder kid just said about a possible move to Newcastle United. But hang on, that's only the final story in this video. And yes, it's going to cause a stay. Before we get to that, we've got 2 hot updates you need to know if you love Newcastle and want to stay in the loop with what's happening behind the scenes. Stick with me until the end, because as well as catching up quickly, the last story is by far the most controversial one of the day. Story 1, new wonder kid coming. Newcastle United are on the verge of announcing yet another young talent to help build the club's future, and this time, it's been a serious battle to get him. Guess who they've beaten to the punch? None other than Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's right, 2 of the biggest clubs in the world missed out in this race. The player in question is Antonio Cordero. He's only 18, plays for Malaga, and even in a struggling team in Spain's second division, he's managed to shine with 13 goal contributions. Yes, 13. For someone his age, and in that situation, it's seriously impressive, and it's exactly why top clubs across Europe had their eyes on him. But Newcastle moved first. The Magpies got in early, agreed terms of the player back at the start of the year, and now they're just waiting for his contract with Malaga to run out on the 30th of June to make it official. Meanwhile, while fans in Newcastle are buzzing, things over in Spain, well, they've taken a different turn. The local press is absolutely furious with Cordero's decision, and they haven't held back. Spanish outlet Diario so even called him a snake for turning his back on the club that developed him. Others accuse him of chasing money, saying Newcastle offered a much higher salary, and some even started criticizing the English club, claiming all of this is only happening because of the famous Saudi petrodolars backing the project. But let's be honest, this is part of a long-term plan Newcastle have been following since the Saudi takeover. They've been investing heavily in young talent from across the globe, with players like Garang Kuhl, Alex Murphy, and Yankuba Minteh already signed. The idea is simple: build a strong and competitive squad for the future without needing to spend a fortune on fully established stars. And even if some of these players don't make it into the first team, the club can still sell them later for profit. That's exactly what happened with Minteh, who was sold to Brighton for £33 million last year. Huge return. Newcastle sporting director Paul Mitchell recently spoke about this strategy. He made it clear that there's no point signing big-name players just for the headlines. In his words, "Of course it would be easier to walk in and unveil a big-money name, but that would go against everything we're trying to build. My job is to ensure the club grows smartly, thinking about today, tomorrow, and the future." In short, Newcastle aren't just buying players. They are building a project, a bold, solid, and, by the looks of it, well-planned project. And if the Cordero deal goes through, as everything suggests it will, it could be yet another smart step forward. Story 2, Aston Villa in trouble. This one's all about what's going on behind the scenes, and it could turn into a massive opportunity for Newcastle. Aston Villa are in a bit of a financial bind. They need to raise funds by the end of June to avoid breaching the Premier League's PSR. That's the spending limit clubs must stay within. Last year, Newcastle faced a similar situation and had to sell promising youngsters to stay within the rules. Now, the tables have turned, and manager Eddie Howe has already made it clear, if there's a chance to take advantage of a rival financial pressure, Newcastle will act. Villa may be forced to sell key players. Big names like Coutinho, Dendoncker, and Buendia are reportedly on the list, but there could be even bigger surprises. Can you imagine a Jack Grealish 2.0 suddenly up for grabs? The club's scouting team is already keeping their eyes wide open. Story 3, the main headline of the day. And now, it's time for the main story, the most explosive and talked about headline of the day, stirring up emotion between fans of 2 historic rivals. We're talking about Chris Rigg, one of the most promising young players in English football. He's only 17, already playing in Sunderland's senior team. And, of course, Sunderland are fierce rivals of Newcastle United. And here's the twist. He actually comes from a family of Newcastle fans. Over the last few weeks, there have been countless rumors that Newcastle are ready to pay £40 million to bring the youngster across enemy lines. And it wasn't just the Magpies showing interest. Manchester United and even Borussia Dortmund were also reportedly in the race. Yep, this lad is making waves all over Europe. But then came the big moment. Chris Rigg decided to finally speak out, and he didn't hold back. What did he say? Sunderland is my club. I've been here all my life. Short and powerful. Despite the interest, the money, and the emotional ties to Newcastle, Rigg made it crystal clear. His heart belongs to Sunderland. He explained that it was a club that believed in him from the age of just 15, when he first made his senior debut and broke club records. And for him, that meant everything. It gets even better when he talks about his dad. Chris' father, born and raised in Newcastle, a lifelong fan of the club, now follows his son to every Sunderland match. He's even been jokingly nicknamed as Secret Mackham, a playful jab suggesting his switched side because of his son's success. Naturally, this has caused a stir among both sets of fans. On one side, Sunderland supporters are celebrating his loyalty and passion. On the other, Newcastle fans are split. Some respect his decision, while others are gutted to see a potential local gem choosing to stay at their rival's club. Even Sunderland manager Regis Lebreeze gave his thoughts. He confirmed that, so far, there hasn't been any official offer, but the level of interest shows just how brilliant Rigg has been this season. According to him, the lad is fully focused on Sunderland, and all the noise is just a sign of the fantastic progress he's made. So for now, Newcastle's dream of bringing in the prodigy from across the divide seems a long way off. But this is football, and we all know how fast things can change. Sometimes in days, sometimes in hours. So the question remains, will Chris Rigg really stay with Sunderland for the long haul? Or will the pull of his roots and Newcastle's growing project eventually bring him home? One thing's for sure, this lad will be making headlines for years to come. So what do you reckon? Toon fans, would you welcome Chris Rigg at Newcastle, even with all that love is shown for Sunderland? And what about Antonio Cordero? Do you think is going to make it big in black and white? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion always counts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update about Newcastle United, with all the biggest stories of the day every single time. See you in the next video.